People were like, oh, you're just a medical emergency away from bankruptcy. And I'm like, man, y'all got money. I am 4 flat tires away from being on the street. Literally and figuratively. But like,
Hi, welcome back to This African Perspective. Thank you all for stopping by. So we're going to be checking out videos about poverty and being broke, the frustration that comes with being a poor person, like just living in poverty or living in a state where, you don't have as much money, you're just struggling and trying to live life, you're not rich at all. That's what it is. Okay, you know what it means. Anyway, so we're gonna be checking these videos out and hear a bit rant about, of course, the cost of living, inflation, and everything else that comes with that. Okay. But before we get right into this video, please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into it.
Poverty is so fucking violent, and it's like such a silent killer because I feel like nobody gives it the credit it's due. How do you build a positive self-concept if you've never given a chance to understand yourself and learn yourself and explore yourself? You can't even build identity because you're worried about bills.
Something that's totally acceptable if you're rich, but completely wrong if you're poor, is being in debt. The world's wealthiest people, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, are all hundreds of millions of dollars in debt to avoid paying income taxes. If a poor person did that, you'd shame the living fuck out of them. But because it's a rich person doing it, you call them smart. Rich people hoard wealth and avoid paying their fair share of taxes by doing something called buy, borrow, and die. They buy all of these assets like yachts and homes and cars and golf courses and sports teams and jets. They often write them off on their taxes as business expenses and can report them as losses to their business as well on their taxes. And then they borrow. They get these massive loans from the bank that they kind of treat like their income, and they live off of those. And they get incredibly low interest rates, 1%, sometimes lower. When poor people get loans from the banks, their interest rates are anywhere from like 9 to over 20%. And then the rich die and pass all of their wealth onto their kin. They take advantage of inheritance tax loopholes so their kids wind up paying as little in inheritance tax as possible. We need to close these loopholes and tax the fucking rich.
This is how I know that so many people in this world are brainwashed. There are currently so many workers right now going on strike because they want livable wages. Livable wages. I'm not talking about money to buy a yacht. I'm not talking about money to buy a mansion. I'm not talking about money to buy properties. I'm talking about money to live on, like to survive, so they can eat, so they can feed their families. Like right now, Amazon workers are currently asking for $30 an hour. Why shouldn't they have $30 an hour? Jeff Bezos makes billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. So $30 an hour isn't asking for too much. And there's people out there who say $30 an hour is crazy to move boxes. My thing is they should pay McDonald's workers $30 an hour to flip burgers. Here's something that a lot of people fail to understand. At one point in time, the milkman, this man right here who delivered milk in a small truck, was able to afford to provide for an entire family by himself. Meaning one income as a milkman, he was able to pay for his housing, pay for food, pay for his wife to stay at home, and take care of the kids off one income as the milkman. Now, I'm aware at this point in the video, a lot of y'all gonna say, well, the price of living has gone up. I agree. So why aren't wages compensating the price of living? Why is it normalized for people to have 2 jobs and have a side hustle just to survive? Why is it that every household has to have damn near 3 different incomes just to stay above water? And some people have multiple incomes and are still drowning in bills, are still trying to survive. And yet our society is so brainwashed thinking that we the people don't deserve more, and I am not comprehending nor understanding why are you feeling this way? Why is it okay for rich people to have multi-million-dollar yachts, multi-million-dollar mansions? They have beach houses, vacation houses that they don't even stay at. They just own it just to say they own it. And instead of people waking up and saying this isn't right, there are people out there who are genuinely envious, and they're so envious that they want to become one of these people who own multiple yachts, who own multiple mansions, who own multiple properties in this way that they don't even use. The point of this video is just me simply telling you all who aren't awake yet to wake up. Look around, think, and then speak.
Some of y'all out here living check to check, and that's okay. Because I'm living check to hope, just hoping that the next check come. You know, God gonna make a way.
I just checked my bank account to see if I could order a pizza, and I have negative $21 in my checking. I think I must still order it, though.
Oh, and another thing. Can I de-influence you right quick? Not all of us in our 20s living in them luxury condos that you keep saying. Girl, some of us still live at home, and this is us aesthetically pleasing as it's gonna get. I got a futon. That's about it, baby. I was still here watching fish hooks, eating grapes out of a measuring cup. Okay? And if you're an older sister like me, you know you struggling to figure out how you gonna hide them presents away from your little brother who live in your room. We out here just living regular life, okay? Press-ons and all.
So I just finished watching this video from a creator named Sheila, and she's actually a lawyer on this platform. I wanted to stitch it because what she said just absolutely stopped me in my tracks, but she has stitches off, so I wanted to give you guys my take. In one of these videos, she talked about a CEO who allegedly said Americans need to be kept hungry so they keep showing up to work. There was also mention of Elon Musk's mother saying that the poors need to keep having children so that her son has people to work in his factories. Now, I could not personally find sources for these quotes, but even if they are paraphrased or symbolic, they are painting a picture on a system that thrives on inequality, a system that works hard to keep people struggling and overworked and stuck in survival mode, because that is how control is maintained. She also talked about this in relation to the TikTok ban from a lawyer's perspective, which I thought was really interesting. But essentially, the point that she's trying to get across is poverty doesn't just happen. It's manufactured. Like how people aren't allowed to collect rainwater, or grocery stores incinerate food because it's about to go bad instead of donating it. And it takes effort to keep people believing that the status quo is normal. It's no coincidence that universities in the US historically were free. But now, people are being told to take on mortgage-sized student loan debt for any degree, regardless of job prospects. We're out here telling regular people to follow their passions and the money will come, but that's not what the rich do. But it's designed like this for normal folks because that's the system. The more debt you're in, the more tied you are to your job, the easier you are to exploit. You get stuck, you lose free choice because you've already sold tomorrow's hours. And then add on to that the societal pressure to spend extravagantly on your wedding, even though I cannot tell you how many people I talk to who are still paying off their wedding after the divorce. Spend to the max of your pre-approval for a house, the bank's gotcha. Buy on credit cards, keep up with the Joneses. You could just pay it back later. Access to debt becomes an illusion of freedom. And a lot of people follow down this path because they are told that they should. And growing up, I saw this firsthand, right? My family rode the poverty line. I saw them struggle. And I started to believe for a long time that struggle was just a part of life. But it's not a part of life for everyone. Now, after being around wealthy people and becoming wealthy myself, the difference is staggering. Rich people don't play by the same rules that regular people have been told to follow. They do the opposite of what the masses are doing. Asset prices go through the roof and regular people catch FOMO. But when they inevitably crash, because that is the market cycle, rich people swoop in and scoop up those assets for pennies on the dollar. While everyone else is scared because that's what the media is telling them to be, the rich people are the ones coming in and making the money. And let's get real, the marketing that we are exposed to on a daily basis is nothing but propaganda. It's designed to create a problem you didn't even know you had and then sell you the solution. It keeps you buying, it keeps you consuming, and it keeps you on this treadmill of feeling like you're never enough unless you have more. That's why regular people stay stuck and the rich keep getting richer. Because here's the thing, the system actually isn't broken. It's working exactly as it was designed to, keeping the majority trapped while a few stay on top in control. The middle class is disappearing, and this is intentional. A strong middle class threatens their power. People who see through the bullshit, like we are all starting to do on this app, threatens their power. Because people stop believing the bullshit that they're being fed, and they use this to communicate with other people and share what's really going on. The thing here that I want you to take out of this is you don't have to play their game. You can learn to build wealth. You can learn to escape. When I started doing the opposite of everything that I had been told to do, that is when I got rich. That is when I found my freedom. I went from $40,000 in debt to millionaire at 30, not because I followed the rules, but because I questioned them. I did this by learning how to get my money working for me, like the rich do, instead of just working myself into the ground for someone else. If you are tired of being told to settle for less, this is your wake-up call.
How are we expecting people to rent when they have to pay first and last month's rent plus a security deposit? I have a family member, he's not on this app, and he is trying to get into an apartment complex, big corporate-owned apartment complex here in Tampa. A 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 800 square feet, $1,600 a month. They have horrible reviews on Google. Not a great part of town, but it's what he can afford right now, and you know, he knows it's a temporary thing. So he asked me if I'd be willing to co-sign on this apartment because this apartment complex is asking for first and last month's rent plus a large security deposit. And I said, no problem. I'd rather you take that money that you would normally have to apply towards the application process to get moved in and instead focus on like buying yourself groceries when you get moved in and having the funds to set up your utilities and all the things. And I went ahead and submitted all the documents that they asked of me, which was 3 months worth of bank statements, our 2023 tax return, as well as copies of contracts and payments made from my clients, because I'm a 1099 employee, to show them that basically if for some reason he weren't able to pay his rent, it would default to me, and including my social security number, so they'd come after me. No problem. I trust this family member wholeheartedly and have no issue doing that. So I submitted all those documents, and they called him today. And yes, they are still asking for first and last month's rent, and they are still requesting a security deposit. They lowered it. But let me just set the stage here. $1,600 a month is the rent. I provided them documentation to show that one of my clients, just one client that pays me in a month, would cover over 12 months of his rent. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying this because this is the level of absurdity we have reached. You have someone that's co-signing to ensure that that apartment is paid for, that has proof, documentation, proof of funds to show that just one of my payments from one of my clients in a month that I provided a contract to show would cover his rent for the entire year. And yet that's not good enough to waive a security deposit or still make him pay first and last month's rent. What are we doing? Like, why are we making Gen Z like not be able to have a place to live? This is absurd. Like, I don't understand why somebody needs to be making over $1 million to show that you could waive the security deposit and not make them pay last month's rent. Like, I essentially showed them collectively that my husband and I make, I'm not going to say how much it is, but it's absurd. Because if he doesn't have a co-signer, like, how do people move into those places then? I don't get it. I don't understand what we're doing to this generation. Then I see a news report that mortgage rates are climbing back up again, 5-month high, 6.85%. I ain't buying in that market unless I can pay cash. So we rent. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that for us. But I'm also 20 years older. Like, and I've already lived, I don't, like, this is stupid at this point. I guess, what is that generation supposed to do if you don't have somebody co-signing for you? How do you expect them to come up with that type of cash for $1,600 a month rent? I don't understand what we're doing here. I don't understand it.
One of the funniest things I see on the internet is this image about how all rich people are just greedy, obnoxious, and selfish. And coming from someone who started out poor, lived with and interacted with poor people the majority of my life, to now speaking with and hanging out with people that make $1 million a month, I can very clearly tell you that the difference is night and day. And I'm not saying rich people are perfect at all, but poor people, they don't seem to value their own time or yours. They barely have any order in their life in any form. They love to complain about the most minor inconveniences, but oddly enough, they take very small amounts of accountability for the circumstances that they're in that led them to those inconveniences in the first place. And more often than not, they don't even care about their own property, let alone yours. If you think I sound crazy, just ask yourself right now, who would you rather have as a neighbor, a rich person or a poor person? Not only are you going to say rich every single time, but I don't know any rich people with the freedom to live anywhere they want in the world go back and choose to live around poor people.
Bro, I literally hate being security because I'm just here for the money. I'm not trying to serve and protect. So when he's coming in, nuttier than fruitcake, I'll be so pissed that I gotta get up and talk to these. Watch this.
Why don't you smile for breakfast? What the fuck you talking about?
He said you
ass on my face.
I was just told that you gotta leave. That's it.
I don't know. Get the fuck out my face. Make me do that. I'm having food, bitch. What the fuck you talking about? Ugly fuck.
Damn, like that. Or that. I just want the money. I'm not trying to die. I just want the check.
You know, there are actually other worse things in life, right? That feels like they hurt so much and it's a bad state to be in, especially like being so sick. Yeah, just so many traumatic things that can happen in life, you understand? Having like a chronic illness, so many things that you can think of. But when I say poverty also needs to be added in those lists about one of the worst things to deal with in life. When we talk about the constant survival mode that comes with not having, that's just what it is. Like, we don't even have to specify what you don't have, you just don't have. You know what I mean? Not having entirely. You are living on a survival mode the whole time. The stress that comes with that, how it affects your body. And it gets so bad to the extent where you see some people who go through that survival mode and then they get to a point where they are actually very okay, you know, financially. They're fine, they're doing good, but they still have that fear of, they're still living with that fear that they had when they had nothing. They're like, what if I lose it? What if, like, they don't feel like they even deserve it. Like, they feel like at any time it could be snatched away. That is why you see some people place so much value in the things that they have because they went through hell to get it. People be like, you place value in material things, you place value in this. They know what they did, how they went through so much struggle to get those things. And when you are poor, you are in a state where it's like opportunities are very, very less for you. Okay. You are in a state where you've been getting opportunity to actually get out of that situation. It takes so much. It's not easy at all. Like, you know, one thing that I've noticed, I have seen that when you have a level of riches and you have money, when I have money, I notice that I actually get more money easily. Like, it doesn't take me much to actually get more. Why? Because I'm in a position where I can be in a place where I can get more and I can actually, you know, do things in a place where I can get more. But when you don't have, you are in a position where it's so difficult for you to get something else. Let's say, for instance, you are homeless. How are you going to get a job? You don't even have an address. Most of the stuff you're trying to do, they be asking you, wait, what's your address? You know, like, what's your this, what's your that? Like, you want to get a job. Um, you need a car to get to those places. If you don't have a car, how are you gonna go for an interview? Literally, you don't have a car, you don't have money to even pay for an Uber to go there. You are not clean enough, and you don't look decent enough to go to those places. You have so much things that you're thinking about. Now that is even an extreme level. But there's just, I don't know if people get what I mean, but it just, when you just don't have, it's difficult for you to even have. Like, you're not even in a position to have an opportunity to have. You are literally limited. In poverty, you will be in a state of fear, desperation, fatigue. That's why you wonder why some people have like so much. You look at them, they seem very aggressive, they seem angry. It's because they actually have to live in a survival mode. When I tell you, when you see some people be so angry and not like be in a more calm, chill mood, chill energy, genuinely, it's actually sincerely because of the survival mode that they are going through. Like, that is just how they've had to fight through life. You understand? So they don't even know what it means to, or they would love to know the feeling of being calm, being composed, you know, not to like be angry or aggressive. We made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate you. Please don't forget to click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. And subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.